That is Speak Low from the Jazz Tet here at 90.9 FM. The Jazz Tet, co-led by flugelhornist Art Farmer, tenor saxophonist Benny Golson, Curtis Fuller, the trombone man, Mickey Tucker, Ray Drummond, Marvin Smitty Smith, piano, bass, and drums. Recording, it's called Back to the City. Recorded at Sweet Basil in New York back in '86. And before that, Ben Patterson, his new trio side, That Old Feeling. He brought us Isn't She Lovely here on 90.9 FM. It's DCB Jazz. Deanna Witkowski is here. Grazyna Auguscik is on the way, and we're going to talk to them right after the jazz calendar here at 90.9 FM.
I'm Bruce Oscar with your WDCB Jazz Calendar update for Thursday, February 22nd, sponsored by PJ's Camera and Photo Supply. At Adele's in Wheaton, as part of WDCB's ongoing Jazz Thursdays, tonight we present the duo of Damian Espinoza and Mark Biani. Starting today and running through Sunday, the Elmhurst College Jazz Festival. WDCB is a media sponsor of that. For details on the fest, please go to WDCB.org. Opening up tonight and in town through Sunday, Rajiv Halim Quintet at the Jazz Showcase. Spare Parts Trio at Andy's. Roy McGrath Latin Jazz Review at the Pork Chop in Hyde Park. Andy Brown followed later in the evening by Alan Grezik at the Green Mill. Joel Burt Duo at Pete Miller's in Evanston. Jazz Community Big Band giving a concert tonight at Bertonis Middle School in Crystal Lake. We have the Jeannie Tanner Duo at Barry's in Oak Brook, Brian Patty every Thursday at the Veterans Club at the White Eagle in Niles. Constantine Alexander at Gino's East in River North. Second Nature Jazz Quintet at the Boca Bar in Blue Island. Abigail Rickards Trio at Eddie V's. At Winter's Jazz Club tonight, the UIC Jazz Ensemble with special guest artist John Faddis. Jim Jacobs Trio at the Italian Kitchen in Deerfield, Julie Fonz and Leandro Lopez Verde at Benny's Chop House. John Moran Trio at D.A. Deli and Dining in Orland Park, Eric Ockberg Trio at Catch 35 in Chicago, and the Mike Walters Jam at Tuscany in Oak Brook. For more information, please visit our website. Today's Jazz Calendar is sponsored by PJ's Camera and Photo Supply. providing photographic equipment and complete imaging services in Glen Ellen since 1975. On the web at bjcamera.com. This has been your Jazz Calendar Update exclusively from your home for jazz, 90.9 FM WDCB and WDCB.org.
And you're listening to DCB Jazz here at 90.9 FM. I'm Barry Winograd, and we've got a couple of guests coming in this morning. But our first guest has arrived after a delicious breakfast. Deanna Witkowski is here. She's got a brand new side, Makes the Heart to Sing, jazz hymns. And she's in town for a wonderful event, the second annual Chopin in the City Festival. And that's February 22nd through March 1st, so it opens tonight. And you're going to be playing tomorrow, right?
Yes, tomorrow night at Piano Forte.
Oh, just a minute. I want to make your mic a little louder. Okay, Piano Forte, yeah. So 1335 South Michigan, is that right?
Yes.
All right. And Piano Forte is a wonderful place. We've had many events there, and their pianos are great. And what time do you start?
I start, because it's only me. I start at 6:30.
Are you sure? Will there be
Yes.
will you be with your piano or without your piano?
I'll be without my personal piano, but
Okay.
with one of their great pianos at Piano Forte.
All right. And and how long is the concert?
It's going to be one long set, so about an hour and 15 minutes.
And is there a focus, for example, on some guy named Freddie?
Freddie. Yeah. So it's all, this festival is focusing on the music of Frédéric Chopin. And a few years ago, I mean, as you know, Barry, and probably some of your listeners, I did a record called Raindrop Improvisations with Chopin, and where I was taking a lot of his, in particular his nocturnes and preludes, and both improvising with them, but arranging them, mixing them with some Brazilian music, which is a big passion of mine, doing a lot of free improvisation, just basing it off of, like, say, a single figure in one of the pieces. So it's going to be mostly featuring that material tomorrow night.
Okay. And are there any new compositions by Chopin that you're going to present?
Yes. And I'm not going to say what they are so that you find out. I grew up as a classical pianist.
Sure.
So, recently, preparing for tomorrow, I actually went and played some stuff I hadn't played through in a long time. I just read through a lot of his mazurkas, which are pretty short. Not as short as the preludes, though, and some of his waltzes. And so I'm going to be doing something with one of his waltzes in A minor and another mazurka that both aren't on the record.
Well, and that gets me to my real next question, was that, well, most people don't understand that there is certain basic repertoire for every instrument. And
Right.
he is certainly part of the basic repertoire of the pianists, or piano
Yes.
players, yeah.
Definitely. And one nice thing, about people who are studying piano is, there's some Chopin pieces that technically are really not that difficult. I'd say if you're an intermediate player, you could play some of them. There's a big range. So a lot of his etudes will focus, say, on like learning a specific technical skill, but doing it in a musical way so that you're not just practicing like scales up and down the keyboard or something. And he also, to me, some of his most interesting stuff are his preludes, which are super short, but harmonically they're like crazy weird. They go all over the place, and you hear jazz progressions in there, and also the fact that he wrote such melodic themes and would really write out things that to me sound like improvisations, because like when he'd state the theme again, he would play a little pianistic line, just sort of like riff on something and come back to the theme. And so there's a lot of room in there for arranging and improvising.
Well, I would think that a brilliant man like him was a great improviser.
Yeah,
He would sit
yeah.
down at the piano and just start playing, and, oh, this sounds good, let's go this way and that way, and, yeah. All right. Well, why don't we listen to something from your new side? This one that won't be featured on Friday, but it's a really wonderful recording called Makes the Heart to Sing Jazz Hymns. It's a trio
Yes.
recording bassist Daniel Foose, and Scott Latsky sitting at the drums. And you had me bring up Love Divine, All Loves Excelling. You said that's Welsh?
Well, the tune name is Welsh, so the actual melody, the whole record's instrumental, so, you know, there's no singing of the Love Divine text, which would be a super known text to this tune. But the tune is actually from the 19th century, a Welsh tune.
Okay, and this is Deanna Witkowski Trio and Hyper Doll on DCB Jazz. That's Deanna Witkowski Trio on DCB Jazz and Hyper Doll from her new recording Makes the Heart to Sing Jazz Hymns here at 90.9 FM.
Support for WDCB comes from the Genesee Theater in Waukegan, presenting pianist, keyboardist, and composer Chick Corea with the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra on Friday, March 30th. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com and at the Genesee Theater box office.
And support for WDCB comes from PJ's Camera in Glen Ellen, sponsored WDCB's Jazz Thursdays at Adele's Restaurant in Wheaton. Tonight, we welcome the duo of Damian Espinoza and Mark Piani. Details, WDCB.org. And we have a couple of guests here with us today, Grazyna Auguscik and Deanna Witkowski, who we just heard playing. And they are both involved, and Grazyna is more involved than most.
Good morning.
Good morning. And the Sounds and Notes Foundation and you yourself are presenting, oh my goodness, the second annual Chopin.
Yes, second Chopin in the city.
Yeah. Well, tell us about it.
it takes 8 days. Tonight is the first night with the grand opening at the Polish consulate with the classical concert, and tomorrow we have two wonderful concerts, and one concert is Deanna Witkowski at 6:30 at the pianoforte. You can't miss it. The Chopin, how Diane interpreted, it's very unusual, and for me, it's one of the best I heard. So 6:30 at the pianoforte, and 8 o'clock at Old Town School of Folk Music. I have a fantastic artist from Poland who plays on a very unusual instrument. You probably can't find this instrument anywhere, just in Poland. The instrument which was recreated from painting, from 19th century's painting, and it's 4-string instrument. The way how she plays, it's amazing. And she was working with Yo-Yo-Ma and a lot of the very famous world music, let's say, stars around the globe. And she's with us tomorrow.
What's the name of the instrument?
Suka biłgorajska.
Okay.
So it's very, very, kind of difficult to pronounce. But she's gonna play with two local players, and Seth Wood Parker on cello and Juan Pastor on percussions. So it's 8 o'clock tomorrow, and so Saturday we have a 10 o'clock show, live broadcast through via internet at the school, Frederick Chopin School in Palatine, with 4 different acts. And at 7 o'clock I'm gonna sing with Di Alexander and Miguel de la Serna and Ben Lewis at the Pro Music Audio. It's gonna be a very interesting concert. We all play Chopin, sing Chopin and play Chopin. And so it's gonna be Saturday, 7 o'clock.
Where?
Pro Musica Audio is on 713 Wrightwood, Chicago.
Okay.
Ken Christensen plays. It's very charming. It's limited, but very, very beautiful place with 2 pianos. So he had a great 2 acoustic pianos, 2 voices, 2 pianos. And Sunday we have also painting Chopin, so the concert for with live music, and kids are who are get inspired and painting. They're gonna painting inspired by live music. And at 4 o'clock we have another classical concert at Pro Musica. Monday we have a concert at Washington Library. It's a free concert with very good, interesting artists from classical pianists from Curacao. It's a little island like Venezuela. And Curacao adapted Chopin music in 1860 as a dance. Mazurkas were they adapt mazurka as a dance, and today they are still dancing mazurka. And Chopin he was very influential for many musicians from Curacao. There are a lot of wonderful pianists, and they add on let's say vibes to Chopin music, so it's more like a Caribbean. And Wednesday we have Tuesday we have a avant-garde. Chopin goes avant-garde. We have a concert at the Copernicus Center with musicians, Chicago musicians, Krzysztof Pabion, Liliana Wośko, many musicians who are in dancer also, so who are involved in avant-garde scene. Wednesday is a classical concert at the Polish Museum, and the last night, March 1st, it's John Krieger, Jim Gallaretto, Chris Graham at Loyola University Special Project.
And where was that last concert?
It's Loyola University, 8 o'clock.
Where on Loyola University?
Loyola University Skowroński Hall. It's the Mendelin Hall, the main hall, but it's there. It's like 100, maybe put small.
They'll find a seat for you.
They will find. They have to find.
All right, so we've got a website for you. This is the way to do it. If you need to do it, you go to soundsandnoise.com. soundsandnotes.org.
Yes.
Soundsandnotes.org. You can find everything that was just mentioned and figure out how you're going to do everything. And why don't we listen to a little bit of improvisations with Chopin, a recording called Raindrop that Deanna did a number of years ago. And you had me put up the Prelude in E minor, Opus 28. Is that
no,
right?
I don't think so. Track 13.
I thought you were holding up 3. Okay, well, we can do that too. Prelude in D flat major.
Yeah, and this is actually the one that's known as the Raindrop Prelude. So that's where the title of the record comes from.
Okay. And is this a typical piece for a beginning or medium beginning pianist?
Well, I would not say a beginner. In this particular arrangement, I only work with the first theme. So there's a whole other section where it goes into a minor section, which I don't play at all. It starts off with just a free improvisation, and one of the main things about this piece is there's like a pedal note, an A flat you keep playing in your left hand that just keeps going and going and going and going. So I use that as a basis for just improvising on top of it, and then go into the theme, just the main first theme.
All right, Deanna Witkowski, you're recording Raindrop, the Prelude in D flat major on DCB Jazz. That's Deanna Witkowski at 90.9 FM. Her recording called Rain Drop, the Prelude in D-flat major by Chopin, and her recording of improvisations of Chopin. And she'll be doing that this Friday as part of the Sounds and Notes Foundation's second annual, right? Second annual Chopin in the City Festival. And we're going to talk to her and Grazyna in a minute here at 90.9 FM.
Support for WDCB comes from the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, returning to Wheaton College Friday, March 16th at 7:30 p.m., with Riccardo Muti leading the CSO in Mozart's celebrated Sinfonia Concertante, featuring CSO concertmaster Robert Chen and violist Paul Neubauer. Tickets available at cso.org.
And support for WDCB comes from the Chicago jazz trumpeter Marcus Roots, performing with his quintet at the Jazz Showcase Monday, February 26th. The program features a number of Marcus's tunes and arrangements and includes guest percussionist Heitor Garcia. Details at marcusrootsmusic.com. It's DCB Jazz. I'm Barry Winograd. We've got a couple guests here, and Deanna Witkowski and Grazyna Auguscik, and they are all part of the second annual Chopin in the City Festival. Opens tonight and runs through March 1st. Further information, of course, at soundsandnotes.org. And Deanna, you've got like 14 tunes on here from Chopin. I just got to ask, and you did that all in 60 minutes. Wow, that's very impressive.
Well, there's actually about 8 Chopin pieces on there, and the other 5 or 6 pieces are all free improvisations, which were mostly like basing about, I think, 4 of them were all just based on like a final little arpeggio that keeps going da 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 da, like at the end of one of the Chopin nocturnes. So those shorter pieces kind of break up the longer arrangements, and then when I do the concert tomorrow, there will be a lot of free improvisation mixed in as well.
Well, that's wonderful. And also, it's going to be a lot of fun at the other projects as well. Now, is everybody going to be performing Chopin either in the original style or the avant-garde style, the jazz style, or is there going to be Brazilian Chopin?
In any style. So, like Dee is gonna do, Dee Alexander's going to sing with a little gospel, like a gospel style.
Cool.
And the avant-garde players, they're gonna do our own way. So I gave them freedom. However they feel the music of Chopin. I'm wondering how John Krieger will bring the Chopin with Jim Gallarotto is playing on a bass clarinet and Chris Graham vibraphone, so it's going to be very interesting.
Absolutely. Now, did Chopin write many songs with lyrics or any songs with lyrics at all?
Like maybe 15. But I never, I know them, but I never actually sang them. I prefer piano music, of his piano music.
So when you and Dee, 2 vocalists, are doing, will you be doing wordless vocals, scat vocaling?
Just scat. That's my signature. And I'm free, no lyrics, no stands, music stands.
Well, why don't we hear something from you? You had me put up. Do you need this back? Since I can't pronounce it.
It's a triptych number 2 by another classical composer, Witold Lutosławski, who also get inspired by folk music.
Okay, and who's on here with you?
Oh, the Polish musicians.
Okay. Do they have a name for their band?
I recorded this 5 years ago. Jan Słaczyński, pianist, the jazz trio, string quartet. The Jan Słaczyński is a pianist, and his trio plus Atom String Quartet from Poland. I think they are excellent. They can improvise, everybody.
All right, and it's Triptych 2, Grazyna Auguscik on DCB Jazz.
Studni źródło bije,
moje serce, moje serce.
That's called Triptych 2 on DCB Jazz. Grazyna Auguscik, her recording inspired by Lutosławski. Yeah, and she is here with us today. And Deanna Witkowski is here with us today, and they are here in honor of the second annual Chopin in the City Festival. It starts tonight, runs through March 1st. Sounds and Notes Foundation, they are supporting this in general, but I have a feeling that's mainly you, isn't it?
Well, I am the founder and let's say the president, but yeah, just because of the many donors and online, so I want to thank all the donors and donations and all the sponsors. It's great that I have some people who also care about the arts in the city.
Mm-hmm. And also, if you want further information, where the events are being held, how to get there, ticket information, etc., there's a website, soundsandnotes.org. That's soundsandnotes.org, and get everything you need right there. Easy to do. Well, I know you guys are busy. I know, well, at least one of you is very busy getting everything together for tonight. Again, what time does the event start tonight?
It's 6:30, but it's for invitation only.
Oh, invitation only.
For supporters and just a small.
Right, a small event.
Small, 100-something people. That's not very small, but it will be very nice to start over there. It's a beautiful building, nice concert place.
And then tomorrow night at Pianoforte Foundation, 1335 South on Michigan Avenue in Chicago. Deanna will be sitting down and performing some Chopin a la Deanna.
Yes.
In her way.
And you can also visit my website too if you'd like to hear some of my different projects, and that's deannajazz.com.
Okay. And there was something else you just said you wanted to make sure we mentioned.
Yeah, well, I have a pretty big new project coming up that's taking me to Bahia, which is in the middle of Brazil, for about 9 weeks. I'm leaving on April 8th, and I'm going to a place called Sacatar, which is an artist institute. They take about 5 artists at a time. So I got a fellowship to go to research for a new composition that I'm calling the Nossa Senhora Suite, which is I'm going to write for my group, well, for quartet, percussion, and 4 singers. And Nossa Senhora is, I mean, in Portuguese, because that's what they speak there, that translates as Our Lady. So I'm going to be looking at different Afro-Brazilian versions of Mary in Catholicism and then Candomblé, which is an Afro-Brazilian religion where the hub of it is right in Bahia, where I'm going to be staying. So each movement of the suite will be for a different Mary. So I'll be combining chants or texts or songs, different rhythms, so that I can sort of evoke different Brazilian versions of Mary with that. It's huge, and that's a project that I'm doing a lot of fundraising for as well. So if you're interested in reading about that and following a blog I'm going to be doing while I'm down there, the best place to go is to deannajazz.com.
All right, deannajazz.com. I want to thank you both for coming by, and we're going to hear some more Chopin. And Grazyna was mentioning how she loves how you combine, here Louis Bonfa with Frédéric Chopin.
Yeah, the melodies are super similar. So this is, the theme to Black Orpheus, Mariage Carnaval, Morning of the Carnival.
Are you fond of similarities?
Oh yeah, the melodies at the beginning are like exactly the same.
Really?
So I start with the Chopin, and actually in this one I use the whole Chopin piece. I play through most of it, go into the Mariage Carnaval, and then come back to the original Chopin coda.
And when you first played this piece, I don't know how old you were. I don't know if this is one of those easy ones you guys do when you're young, but did you immediately go to your mind like, wow, this sounds very familiar, and let's add a different type of rhythmic feel to it, and all of a sudden here we are.
No. And this one, actually, I tried when I did this record in general, I tried to take my cues from the Chopin rather than put something else overlaid on it. So, for instance, a lot of the nocturnes, the left hand will do like a steady figure that goes all the way through. So in this piece, it's all triplets. So I kept the triplets for the most part when I go into the Brazilian piece. So I I didn't really go into a Brazilian rhythm. I do have one nocturne on here, the B major, where now I have a trio arrangement of it, and that goes into more of kind of a Brazilian feel when we do it. But here I'm really taking my cues for the whole feel of the piece from the Chopin left hand.
All right.
Guess what? When I play with Paulinho Garcia, any piece, any Chopin he takes, it sounds like Brazilian.
Well, that's because he lives in Los Angeles, you know.
Oh, right now.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you both again for stopping on by. Again, further information at soundsandnotes.org. This recording called Raindrop, and we are going to hear Nocturne in E minor, Opus 72, number 1, and Mania de Carnaval from Deanna Witkowski, and it's DCB Jazz. Deanna Witkowski at the piano, and Nocturne in E minor, Opus 72, number 1, with Mania de Carnaval, her recording Raindrop. And again, thanks to Deanna Witkowski and Grazyna Auguscik for stopping by. And the second annual Chopin in the City Festival, open to the public starting tomorrow, and that will be at 6:30 at Pianoforte Foundation, where Deanna will be playing. It's DCB Jazz.
WDCB is partnering with the Downtown Oak Park Association to present the 4th annual Jazz Thaw. Join us